What's up, pineapples? Welcome back to my channel. So today I'm going to be doing this look right here. This is my go-to summer look. Like, I love it. Glowy skin, highlight, some shimmer on the eye, pop in freaking fire color. I show you two of my like holy grail summer colors right now that you guys just need to get it so we can twin. Also, your girl has a new background going on. Honestly, it just became like last minute where I was like, I want to film, let's do this. I'm so tired of my like white background, and I didn't have to use any additional stuff. I got this plan already. I think it looks so cute. Also, when I posted this on my Instagram, people said, what did you name it? I had no idea people named their plants. So let me know. I was thinking of like piña or something like that, like for like pineapple, piña, because I am learning Spanish. If you guys haven't seen my vlog channel, What Would Lizzy vlog, I am officially learning Spanish on my own through Rosetta Stone. Yeah, I already had this picture. I really like it. This isn't the permanent background. I got another console like that, so it's gonna come so it just goes into one like and I'm just gonna keep it clean like this. I absolutely love it. I think the lighting looks amazing. The background's plain and simple. Still have my little pop of pineapple, and yeah. All right, guys, so today I'm excited because I had you guys ask me questions, and we're going to have some girl time. I'm going to help you guys with some advice. At least I'm not a professional, I will say that. This is just girl time and how I feel and what my mind is thinking. I am not a professional. I'm just here just to have a good time and maybe be that friend that you need, or someone that you want to ask a question to because you don't have anybody in your life to ask that question to, because I have been in that position before. I decided I'm not going to show your names because some of the questions I was like, okay, it's such a small world, you just never know who watches who. So I don't want to put anybody on blast or get in trouble or get deeper in their situation than they already are. So no names will be said. I did say them in the beginning of the video, like I went through like 5 or 6, and I did say the names of their Instagrams, but I'm just going to keep it out. So before we get into this video, don't forget to subscribe, become a part of the Pineapple Tribe, click that bell so you get notified, and let's go into this look because it's a vibe. It's a vibe. Alright guys, so let's start off with the eyes. I already did my brows, obviously. I always use the same pencil, so it's the L'Oreal Dark Brunette Brow Stylist. It's my favorite one. I'm using the Smashbox Photo Finish right here, the pore minimizing. I'll go like through the products as I'm answering questions and such. Let's have some girl time. You know when you like sit down and you do your makeup on the floor and you're like talking to your girlfriend right before you go out and you guys are pre-gaming or whatever you're doing? That's basically the vibe I'm trying to have. The first question, please help me love my body. I'm at -100 but struggling. Girl, seriously, kudos to you, because even just losing 10 pounds is a lot of weight. You are, let me just praise you right now. Last year, around this time, I was actually in Tahiti at this time, and I was dancing. I was much thinner than I am now, and I remember when at that time too, I was just so unsatisfied. I was like, man, like I want to lose more. I don't like the way I look, and now I would absolutely kill to look the way I did last year. And it's a whole mental thing, and it really sucks because it's almost like we're our own worst like enemy and critic. I'm gonna use the Prep and Prime from MAC. This is the Cherry Blossom one. I loved this one, and I saw it go on sale too on their site. It's a struggle. Like, all I can say is just think back about 100 pounds ago, like how you felt, what could fit, like how far you come, how much stronger you are, just health-wise. That's amazing. We have to build ourselves up, not just the way we look physically, but also mentally. I'm telling you, like losing weight and how you feel about yourself, like basically this whole thing is all mental, and that goes with the world too, and just everyday living. Like, I want to have a good day, but all this bad stuff happens. But again, don't think about all the bad stuff that happens, which I know it's easy to do when things keep piling on. I get it. It's been happening to Glenn and I, like with the house and everything. It's finally settling down, but now we're like, we see the light at the end of the tunnel. So girl, literally kudos to you. You are amazing. Build yourself up, get there, because as strong as you are to lose 100 pounds, which I think is just wow, you already are like a freaking superhero in my eyes. I'm sure there's gonna be so many people in the comments commending you, because that is damn hard. Like, girl, I'm just trying to lose like 10 pounds here. I gotta step it up. So kudos to you, because you definitely are motivating me to push myself. Next up, I'm going into my ColourPop palette. I just dipped into like this peachy orange. You guys, I've been obsessed with this palette. It is so good. And honestly, in person, it's so much better. Like, pictures and all of that do no justice to this palette. Even like my girlfriend got it because I kept talking about it and she's like, dude, like it is so good in person. It's from the spring collection. I know they still have it up. How are you so confident when it comes to meeting new people and socializing? I'm gonna go into the palette and you can just grab like any type of champagne shade. It doesn't have to be this one, but something that's kind of like blingy and fun. And I've been obsessed with this shade. Like this Super Shock shade needs to just be permanent, because in person it's super just glittery and shiny and beautiful. To answer that question, I think it's honestly all just dealing with putting yourself out there. I always say you want to take risks in life, and whatever makes you feel uncomfortable, you should do it. That's what makes you grow as a person. And it also comes with just life experience. Like as a kid, surprisingly, like I was really goofy and out there, but when it came to like strangers and people who I didn't know, I was super shy. Like shy to the point of like I'm hiding behind like my mom and dad's leg shy. What really brought me out of my shell was Polynesian dance, because I started that when I was 7, and then when I started doing shows, I think that really helped. And then obviously eventually I started doing like shows as like a teen and then an adult, and I was teaching so many dance classes, and that's how I paid for so much of my stuff. I had workshops, and sometimes I would teach like 65 people at once to learn a dance, and I would teach like different groups, and I had no idea who these girls were. And I started doing that when I was 13. I was like a straight hustler just because it was in me, it was in my passion, and I just wanted to teach. I did so many shows as well, also like as an adult. And you guys, I went through some funny shows where it's like, okay, if you think about it, when I do Polynesian dance, people look at it as something cultural when you do a show, and sometimes they look at it as, oh, look at those. I would call it a hula horror show. Like I would see the crowd, I'm like, it's a hula horror show night. And what I meant by that was not that we're a horse, but that people were probably looking at us like dancers, you know, like exotic dancers almost. So now what I'm going to do is I'm just going to add just a smidge of this shade right here. Obviously this is my brush for it. Just a smidge. I don't smoke it out a lot, and I just define it very, very softly. With these shows, I'm obviously dancing half naked. I would also MC the shows. So I'm really used to being like in entertainment and stuff like that. And I've danced all over. I've danced thousands of shows, lots of gigs, did commercial stuff. Like I love talking to anybody like of any age. Like put me in a grocery store and everybody's 80 years old and up, I will be talking to everybody. Like I'm one where I know how to not have awkward silences, and that's probably like the worst thing to ever encounter. See how I just did like a super soft smoke? It's honestly just putting yourself out there. You just got to do it. Like when I'm out and about, even when I'm with Glenn, I don't even like pre-warn him. I like go to a girl, I'm like, oh my God, I love your dress. Like it's really pretty. Where'd you get it? Just like little things like that, because one, you're putting yourself out there to be more confident to talk to strangers, and two, you're making someone's day. I go to Target and I am down with everybody. Whatever you're doing, like say on a weekend, I would say just like start practicing talking to people at Target, because it's Target. Like everybody's having a good damn time. Okay, this one is a good one. I would never think that someone would ask me this, but this is from AA2 Princesses, and they said, do you think it's okay for your husband to watch porn? That is super random, but I'm actually happy that you asked that, because I feel like there's kind of like a stigma like, oh my gosh, don't watch porn. You can't look at anybody else. Blindfold and close your eyes, or I'm going to stab them for you so that you don't have to do it, kind of thing. And I think it's just natural for people to like look at other people. I mean, there's so many beautiful people in this world, but there's a difference between lusting and just like admiring, like, oh, she's pretty. Like I have no issue like pointing at a girl and I'm just like, damn, like she's pretty. And I show Glenn, like I feel like girls shouldn't really feel intimidated by other girls. I mean, we should really uplift and admire. Unfortunately, that's not the world today, but I hope one day it'll kind of, you know, come full circle and everybody would have more of that attitude. There's a lot of trolls, a lot of haters, a lot of like, oh, look at her, oh, I don't like her, but you don't even know her damn name and you've never met her. Coming back to the whole porn question, this might be like weird for some people. I honestly don't see anything wrong with it. One, because I mean, I feel like men, it's just like a thing that guys do. Now, what I would have an issue with is Glenn going to a strip club or anything like that, or prostitutes or anything like that. Like, no, like if I found out that he went to a strip club, Oh, I can't even freaking say what I would do to him because this video would get demonetized. That's more of like lusting and wanting and really bringing it past a certain level. Dude, if he wants to like have a good time and he's like at home, you know, and he's just watching it, no big deal. I feel like I said, I don't think it's unhealthy, and I think girls also don't want to admit that they've watched porn. I have watched porn. I mean, I'm not saying I'm on it all the time, but like randomly, you know, like people are just like, oh my God, look at this. Or it's not like a, oh yeah, like I wish I was with them. Just as long as it's like not addicting too, because I think if someone was addicted to watching porn, then there's a problem. That's more of an issue. Bust out the headband because I just like my hair out of my face. So next, I'm just gonna go into wing liner. But yeah, another thing is like one time Glenn was like, hey, I saw this, you wanna try this? I can't believe I'm telling you guys. It's just reality, you know what I mean? But like I said, if it gets like addicting for that person, then that's going a little bit too far. To be quite honest, I don't even know if Glenn really looks at porn, because I remember I asked him, he's like, dude, I am like so exhausted to even look at that. And we're very upfront with each other. Like he even asked me one time, like, have you ever watched porn? I'm like, yeah, I have. I think because I know how he is, even if he did watch it, like knowing Glenn, he'd probably be like, I don't know, he wouldn't be like on there all day long. No, I don't have an issue with it. I think it's not weird, but he's not going to a strip club or anything nasty like that. What's a good amount of time to date before moving in together? I did answer that, but to kind of like answer it a little bit quick is, it's honestly up to you. I said the main thing would probably be that both parties are super serious about it, because if you have one person who's hesitating to move in and like, oh, I don't know, down the road that's gonna explode in your face. Don't necessarily assume that, oh, don't worry, it'll be different once we move in, you'll be fine. No, it might get worse. So you got to make sure that both parties are super comfortable. And the main thing that I said is have your finances correct, because if you don't have your finances together, there's going to be butting of heads. And that's like a number one problem with people. I mean, money is a big deal. Like who's going to be paying for what? Or are you guys going to split both bills? Or what's going to go on with who's going to pay for what? You guys get like a lot of responsibilities, not just paying rent, but like utilities. And if you want cable and internet and who's buying groceries and all of that, it all adds up. You have to be super committed, because maybe you're doing a month to month, but lots of contracts are like for 1 year. So you guys don't want to be stuck with that or break the contract and then you're going to end up paying all this money. Like that's going to suck. So the wing I'm doing is obviously intense. So I have a couple that I'm going to put into one. What do you do when you find out a friend really hasn't been a friend at all? What's your advice on girls who are two-faced? How do you deal with overly needy friends? My friend treats me like her boyfriend. Heart-shaped tape and just clean up the concealer. I'm someone more, yeah, I do give people the benefit of the doubt, or I just want to like get down to business. Like, why are you treating me like that? What's your motive? Like, why are you doing this to me if I'm truly your friend and I'm like there for you? My best friend, which we just went out to dinner yesterday, if I found out that she was like really playing me and like just really two-faced and maybe talking behind my back or just didn't have my back, I wouldn't completely just ignore her and knock her out of my life, because obviously she's my friend. Even regardless if she's my best friend or my friend for a couple months, want to ask. And sometimes it's good to do that because one, you get clarity, and two, sometimes people don't realize what they're doing because they're just in their own world, and you got to check people sometimes. Good to kind of remind people like, hey, do you realize you're doing this? Because I've done things to people where just like, hey, you kind of like this. And I mean, it hasn't happened often, but I do remember like a friend telling me like, hey, can you like maybe do this and this and that because I feel like you're this and that. And I'm like, oh, I'm so sorry. Like, I feel like an a-hole. I'm so sorry. I was like in my own bubble and thinking about my own stuff, you know, and people do get caught up with their own stuff in life. So I wouldn't just say like, F you, I'm done with you, whatever. But also it depends like the situation. If you have like a shady friend, like say for instance, who's been going, oh my God, I just blinked. Why? Maybe pretended to be your friend and was using you for money, or using you to constantly drive her around and be her DD, or be the wingman, but then, I don't know, just treating you like crap. It all just depends what they're doing. Like say for instance, they're cheating and doing stuff with your man behind your back. No, you don't want a friend like that. Also, that other person who said, what do I do if my friend's so needy? I would honestly tell her like, look, like it's a lot on me. Like, I'm trying to do my best, but I can't like help you with everything. And if she's truly your friend, she'll understand. Now, if she reacts and she's just like, oh, what? I thought you were my friend. Like, oh, hell no, blah, 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 and like pops off. Obviously, that's a very selfish person, because it shouldn't just be one way. And you guys should be able to talk about things and discuss things. Like with me and my best friend, I'm always super, super open with her. Like even yesterday, we're kind of talking about something. I was like, and don't lie to me. Like, so and so and so, this is how I feel, and then she tells me her thing, and it just works. Open communication is key, not just in relationships with your significant other, just people around you, because then it keeps the respect and you just set boundaries. So you guys have to say something in order to, I mean, they're not mind readers, you know, they're not psychics. They don't know how you're feeling. And like I said, sometimes people just get caught up in all their BS and they don't even realize what they're doing to other people, or taking it out on you, or mistreating you. But with the whole two-face thing, it just depends on the situation. Because if someone did something super shady, ooh, that's like really hard to forget, because I feel like in order to earn their trust again would be, take a really long time. Especially if you looked at them as such a good friend. Well, I've had it before where someone like takes like mega advantage of me, and I'm not gonna deal with that. So that's why I have a super small circle. You just gotta snip, snip. And that's what I did to some people, and that's just how life is. Why did I have to, okay, I'm just gonna have to go over that area a little. Okay, go over with the shadow again. Damn, I can't believe I did that. So there we go. Okay, so next up, I'm just gonna take some dramatic lashes. I've been using the Lily lashes in Miami, but I'm gonna go back to my go-tos, and I'm gonna use the Cocoa Lash in 925, just something really nice and fluttery. So next up, I got a question asking, how do I feel about Glenn's ex trying to befriend him on social media? When I read it, I literally texted Glenn, I'm like, has your ex tried to befriend you? And we're very, very open and honest with everything. And he's like, no, why? I was like, oh, just curious. I'm doing a video. I'm going to answer like a question about it. If his ex was trying to befriend him, I honestly would be upset. And the only reason is because I know the backstory of them. Now, if she was just normal and a friendly breakup, then I honestly wouldn't feel threatened. I mean, I'm married. I have a lot of confidence in our relationship, and I know how Glenn is, and we have such amazing trust and communication, and I think that's why we're such a great couple. Obviously, we're not a perfect couple. We always have ups and downs like anybody else. Not everything is just rainbows and glitter everywhere. But if I found out that she was trying to befriend him, I honestly would think that she's shady and weird, and she's just trying to start something or probably getting a reaction. I'm not saying I know her, but I know all the stories and the background and things that she's told Glenn. She is evil in my opinion, because if you wish someone's life to end or wish that someone's life ended, I think that's pretty messed up. Because if you guys don't know, Glenn did 3 tours, and I know he wouldn't mind that I said this. She said that it would have been better off if he would have died out there. So if she would contact, I'm gonna find the IP address and I'm gonna freaking come to her house, knock knock, and I'm gonna take away the little friend request myself. On the other hand, to give a more positive type of thing is, for instance, me. I had my high school sweetheart who I dated for so many years add me on Facebook. He created a new account or whatever. I guess he wasn't on. I'm like rarely on Facebook. And I told Glenn, I was like, oh, my old high school sweetheart like added me, whatever. I mean, I've told stories, you know, about us, and like nothing, like it was like a whatever breakup, you know, like little young love kind of stuff. And it wasn't anything serious, just because I know it's mutual. Like I know he has no interest in me. I have no interest in him, but it's cool like to reconnect. Like, hey, I see what you're doing. That's cool. You got some kids now. Just as long as there's like no motives or intention, you know? This is a good one. The best advice for a newlywed couple seeing each other's habits and not getting mad. Struggle. So I am so with you, girl. Like one thing that I said that I think is really good for people to do, and not everybody agrees, is to live together before you get married. But that is not always the case with everybody. For me, I knew I had to do it because I am so particular and put in my ways where I like things a certain way and I want to know about someone. Okay, so before I answer that question, I'm going to go into foundation. I'm doing like a half-day wear test. I've been trying to test this out for a couple days, and it's a dose of colors, meet your hue. I have 120, 123, but I am a little bit more brown biscuit today, so I think I'm gonna try just 123. Okay, maybe we're gonna see if I'm gonna stick to this one. I might have to mix in the 120 because I forgot this one was a little bit more on like the orangey side, not super orangey. Oh no, it's looking okay. I was someone where I had to live with Glenn before I committed and went into all of that. Like we had a discussion, and I just know myself, because I don't want it to be where we get married and then it crashes and burns really quick. But that's not the case for everybody, and I totally get that. I know people are super traditional. Certain parents want it a certain way. Like for instance, my friend, she's engaged and they dated for 10 years, but they've never lived together. And to me, I do have a lot of respect for that for both of them, because that's like really big of them to not do that. I will say that's when we had the most problems, when I moved in with Glenn, but this is when we weren't even engaged yet, and then we got engaged. This is when I I found out about all his habits, like leaving clothes on the floor or not cleaning up, or I would tell him, it looks like you left a buffet underneath the stove after cooking because there was like all sorts of food. I'm not gonna say, oh, I'm Little Miss Perfect. I'm not. We would compromise. We would just talk it out, and I would say, you know what? Like, I totally get it. Like, I'm sorry you've been like a bachelor for a while. And I had to understand his ways, and then he tried to understand my way. Again, communication is freaking key. Is this helping? Yeah, it's helping neutralize a little bit. Being open. Don't wait like last minute and tell them, I hate it when you do this, and it's like a list of 20, and they're like, whoa, like, why didn't you tell me this before? So I was one where I would tell Glenn, like, I'm someone where I like to talk about things right away, or I like to just mention things that I don't like. And he was like, oh, okay, sure, no problem. Because Glenn is a type where he's like super chill and he won't really say anything. He'll just go with the flow. He's like super, super mellow. But I'm one where I'm like, no, but wait, we need to settle this. We can't move on to step B, C, and D without completing A. We worked out certain chores and all that. And I mean, now it's different. I mainly do all of them just because I don't mind and I'm like full wifey mode. But not saying that wives only do that and men can't do anything. I just want to put that out there because Glenn does do a lot. Like, he does his own laundry, but we have separate hampers and it works out because I'm like, look, here's a hamper because he didn't have one. He only had like a clothing basket. I'm going to buy you a hamper. Boom, solved it. He just put all his dirty clothes there instead of like on the side on the floor. You just got to find resolutions and find a happy medium. Good morning, like all excited. I'm like, oh, you're like lame, but then I got it. Like, he's just not a morning person, you know? He's still waking up. It's not that he doesn't care because I'm like, oh, you don't love me, you know, kind of thing. Like, you're mean, you know, when you just like say like little things. Not like I was like, you're mean, but you know, you just like play. He's like, no, like I'm just waking up. So yeah, all compromise. Open communication, and we still have that. Like, the second we don't like something, okay, I'm just gonna sit here and do like a little water break and see if this foundation oxidized. I feel like it, I don't know, I don't think it did. I just think it's that shade is just more orange. But I'm just gonna answer a couple questions right now while I'm taking a little break right here, and I kind of want to answer more questions like than just only do like a couple, because sometimes I'll see people do Q&As and I'm like, no, why was it only like 7 questions? Like, that's too little. I want to know more. Levy, we're like, what the hell was that? Close friend you feel like you're always begging to hang out with, but friends for 8+ years and or question mark. So one thing I will say, like, say for instance, my best friend, we've been best friends for such a long time, and one, she got married way younger than me and she had kids way sooner than me. Well, I don't have kids, but you know, she had them younger too as well, and she had a whole different lifestyle. Like, for me, I was single, like going out, going to bars and all of that, going on dates, and we had such different lifestyles. So I can see how that can kind of be like, oh, like I was like yearning to like hang out with her. But the thing was is that she obviously couldn't hang out with me, so I had to understand, like, look, your best friend's a mom and she has different responsibilities and more responsibilities now. She can't just like go out with you. So I would like hang out with her at the house with the kids. So say, I don't know if your friend is married or what. That's another thing, is that sometimes people just move on in their journeys and sometimes they're a little further. That doesn't mean that you're behind, but they're just like on a different route, finding your way. I'm not saying, wait, that sounds kind of like negative. No, I hope you understand what I'm saying. Like, people just like take a different path because things change. I don't know what the situation is with your friend. Maybe she's just really busy with work. That's another thing. Is she overly worked? Maybe she's just exhausted. Maybe she's just like to a point where, like, since you have been friends for such a long time, maybe, I don't know if you guys are older or not, maybe she's just kind of burnt out of doing the things that you do, and sometimes, unfortunately, you do end up losing interest in friends too. Like, you just kind of like part ways. I've parted ways with a lot of girls, and it's no offense to them. It's just that I don't have the same, nothing in common. Like, I'm not going to go out and go get wasted. I'm not looking to go get wild. I'm not looking to do any of that. So it's just like differences. If you want to hang out with her, just tell her like, hey, like, I really miss hanging out with you. And because that's a long time to be friends, like 8+ years, you know, that's a good relationship. So I would just ask her. But I don't think you should end it like right away. But if she's someone where she's like, oh yeah, but then you see her like posting on social media or maybe like doing something else, and you're like, damn, she couldn't take the time out for me, but we're supposed to be good friends. That's not a good friend. So I would probably just like tell her something. But if she doesn't care, then that's probably a friendship I would end, because you don't want to constantly be disappointed. That's another thing. What do you think of messing around with your coworker? I am someone where I say, you do not eat where you shit. They end up going with coworkers, and I always say no, it's such a bad idea, because Yeah, it may be fun and thrilling at the moment because that's who you know, that's who you're around a lot. And I get it. People start getting interest and you start noticing that person because that's who you see a lot. And that's why they become more desirable. But in the end, if you guys don't end up having a relationship, or if you do and it ends, then it's going to get awkward in the work area. Things can go bad. You don't want people talking. It doesn't look professional. I would mess with a different fish in the sea because there's like a lot of other people. So I wouldn't just, you're going to make your own work situation just uncomfortable. You don't want to dread to go to work because of that. Do you believe in going back to an old love? Yes, I do. I know somebody who they dated, they were high school sweethearts, and then they ended up breaking up, and then they tried to rekindle again, and it ended up working out. They're totally different people than they were in high school, but they just ended up working together. Know that person, you feel comfortable, but I wouldn't keep going and going and going and ending because then that's just bad. Love you too. So my dilemma is I have a friend that I worked with previously in 2 separate companies and now needs a new job, so she wants to apply at my current employer and wants to use, where's the other one? Yeah, as a reference. I wouldn't mind if she was a hard worker, but since I know she is a lazy employee and will take advantage of the situation, I do not want to use her as a reference because I do not want to work with her again. I love her, but she sucks. Okay, just off that, do not. The one thing is that you have to be super confident in a person. You don't want to make yourself look bad in your work field because you also have to look out for you. Sometimes you can't just always look out for your friend because it won't be in your best interest because that's your job. If you end up like referring her and she's just so terrible, your credibility is actually going to go down, and I don't think it's worth to risk that. And another thing is, it's like sometimes it's good just to keep business and pleasure separate. Like I would never want to work with people who I'm super close with. FYI, I would never work with Glenn because it just wouldn't work. You know, it just, and again, the whole maybe bickering or going back and forth, or certain people would take advantage. I mean, not to sound like rude, but I wouldn't reference her if you know she's lazy too, because like I said, she's gonna make your credibility go down. I mean, it sucks. It's a shitty situation because you want to be a good friend, but she just has to you know, find something for herself just like how you did. What are some confidence tips you have for dating? Go into concealer. I'm gonna try this one again. I mean, I usually use my Tarte Shape Tape in medium just because it's waterproof, so it is my go-to summer look, but that's my go-to summer product, but this is just a look, so I want to try this out. This is just the Studio Fix Concealer 24 Hour Smooth Wear. I have the shade NC35 and NC42. I'm going to go in 42 because I don't know how bright this really is. Man, that one seems light already. Confidence tips: be confident in your outfit. You don't want to be, because trust me, I know someone's gonna think like, oh, how do I look? And you can be, and there might be people like, oh, who cares what you look? Trust me, when you go on a date, you want to look good, you want to feel good, and that just sets the mood for yourself. So one, put some bomb ass music and start have like a girl power list. I have a girl power list where I'm just like, yes, like I love it, like I feel so good. One, wear an outfit that you feel really good in. One where you don't have to feel like you have to suck in the whole time, and then you start cramping, and then you feel like you gotta fart, and then you can't fart, and then your stomach hurts, and then you get home, all sorts of bad. Or something's too short in your underwear, or your privates are gonna freaking pop out, or your boobs might pop out, or you feel like you're walking on stilts because you've never worn these high heels before. You want to wear something that you're just comfortable, because you want to make sure that you're there. Like that's a big deal. To like go on a date with someone, I mean, if it's like a serious date, you don't want to waste your time, and you want to make sure you're concentrating to see, is this person even going to get a second date? Wear something where you feel really good, and that's going to set your freaking mood. Just remind yourself, don't be someone that you're not. You don't have to change yourself for someone else. Like, I know sometimes I've done it before where I'm like, oh man, this guy kind of seems like this, so I feel like I should be like that. Don't do that. Be yourself and all will go well, because the worst thing to do is to live a double life, and you never want to live a lie. I always say, like, don't live a lie. This actually looks really good and blended out great. I just want to put just a little bit more right here. What are your top 5 things to do to keep your husband happy? No, wait, that just sounds so bad. So I'm laughing because if you guys don't know, my mom says some pretty funny stuff, and I remember one time my mom said, Elizabeth, I hate to say it, but sex is number 1. You need to keep him satisfied. I'm like, I don't want I talk about this? Wow, this is weird. But I'm just like laughing because that's what it reminded me of. You have to uplift your husband, like show your appreciation. Like for Glenn, I always say thank you so many times. Like today he fixed like our thing for our air conditioner. Like one of the switches was off. Like our air conditioner wasn't working and I was like, oh my gosh, but it was just like a switch that we needed on our circuit breaker. It's like, thank you so much, because like now he made like the house much more cool. I'm able to film without feeling super uncomfortable. Just like so many things, you know, I just always make sure I say thank you for everything. Like I show my appreciation. 2, Glenn loves to eat like any other man, cook all sorts of different things for him, and I make sure I tend to him. I get his lunches ready before he goes to work. That I know makes him so happy because it's less stress on him. He eats good. He loves that I love doing that, and to him it shows like I'm making an effort, and he says that it's actually very sexy because it shows that I'm willing to learn, you know, new dishes and stuff, because he knows that I'll be able to cook for our future family. So that's for Glenn though. Maybe you're someone where you just wear like whatever PJs. I wear whatever PJs. Like it's hot all the time, like, and we're not one where I always have to like wear lingerie, but it's good to spice it up. Surprise him with like a little nightie if you want to. It doesn't have to be something that's crotchless. Another thing to keep him happy is I never force Glenn, and this is a big thing, I never force Glenn to do something that he doesn't want to do. If he feels uncomfortable going to a certain party, or if he feels uncomfortable hanging out with a certain person, I will never force anything, and I would hope that he wouldn't do that to me, and he wouldn't. So that's another thing to keep him happy. I don't force him to do things. What's something to make him happy? Besides like buy him like little gifts. Oh, well, just like doing little things for him here and there, like little surprises. We always do that for each other. Like we don't get like crazy things, but like every now and then I'm like, oh, here's like a little thing that you wanted, or oh, here, I thought of you, I thought you might really like that. Just little somethings here and there I think are really nice. Just respect, honestly, keeps him happy. Like to never like bring him down or feel like I'm better than himself, that I'm better than him. Just really keeping a super even playing ground, and just knowing like I'm never in front of him, I'm never behind him, I'm always beside him. And that's like one of my main phrases: never in front, never behind, always beside. Sorry, I had to put the fan on because it's starting to get a little bit hot, but I don't want to put on the air because then you guys can hear that too. But I'm just gonna set with Seal the Deal loose setting powder from, wow, that was like a lot right there, from Lawless Beauty. Really nice and brightening, and even though it is translucent, I do think it's brightening. They do also have a brightening powder. Wow, look at that. Woo! So you just make sure you just push it in and like really blend it out. Just like thought of other things. Glenn really likes it when I dress up for him, like randomly, when like I'm like, oh, do I look cute for you? He really likes that, and he likes how I'm like super goofy and silly and like, I don't know, stuff like that. That really makes him happy too. Go-to powder has been the Maybelline Superstay. I've been obsessed with it. Usually I was like, well, I still am a big fan of the L'Oreal Pro Matte. That's like definitely a go-to. But this Superstay literally locks everything in place so good. This one I think is gonna be like my holy grail powder. Okay, so now I'm gonna bronze my face with the Maybelline City Bronzer in 200. Has been also my go-to. Relationship of 9 years, we just moved in together. I just feel it's wrong for not getting married. Times have definitely changed. Like I know there's like a lot of traditional old school like traditions for people where they're just like, you don't live together, that's wrong, all of that. You know what? Sometimes it honestly, especially in this day and age, it really benefits. It's not like the olden times where like, I don't know, there weren't so many pressures and social media and all that. Like even my mom, she was very traditional, and I remember she used to say like, you never move in with a boyfriend unless you're engaged at least. And Glenn and I were not engaged, and she totally gets it now. Like she's like, oh, you have to be with the new age now. You can't think like old school, because but again, that doesn't go for everybody. The main thing is that you're happy and you feel confident. And I think another thing is like, you don't want to always think like, you don't want to please other people all the time. You have to please yourself, because remember, it's your life. So you have control of it. Don't live your life for others. That's like such a big thing. Now I'm going to use the Get Laid ColourPop Cream Blush, and I'm using a dual fiber from Sigma. I kind of just like push it into my cheek, and it lasts all day long, especially when I'm like all sweaty and nasty. This is literally the ish. Like I'm obsessed. Like I got off ColourPop for like a long time, and then like they sent me like a collection. I was like, okay, well, let's try it out, and I was obsessed. Just fades better, it lasts longer. If you have powder and you sweat, you're gonna get like that little streak mark, and it's gonna show where your makeup completely disappeared. Go-to highlighter has been from Pixi. Peachy like shade, and then it has like this champagne gold, and I love mixing both of them. It all just kind of depends like what I'm doing. Like since I did get more tan, I'll probably reach for more peach if anything. And then down my nose, I'll do more of like the champagne shade. But I know this was pricey. I believe it was $16, but $16 worth it. Like, I think it is so silky smooth and acts just like high-end powders. Then you guys know I always like that little pop of highlight. So I'm just going to use the highlighter again, and I'm going to take the lighter shade and just pop that right there, because look at that. It just like adds a little something right there. And then we're gonna go on to lips. Now, my two favorite go-to summer colors have been these two. One is more coral, one is more like orangey red. So I'm gonna show this one because I haven't really talked about it too much. It's Fenty Beauty's lip paint in Unattached. Everything to me, it is so nice and bright, but I feel like it's so bright that you can get away with it. Like, it wouldn't scare somebody. Applicator really isn't my favorite, but it's like rounded, but it's doable. Just take off my headband right there. And then my go-to has just been like a braid, like puffed out, like mermaid hair. Like, it doesn't bleed on me. I heard like a lot of mixed reviews on like the Fenty lip paint, so I legit stayed away from them for so long. I'm like, I'm not trying them, but I love them. I think the formula is amazing. Other one I love is from Bobbi Brown, and this one's called Blood Orange. This is the one where everybody was like, what are you wearing? This is amazing. This one I know you can pick up at Nordstrom, and Macy's has it. I don't think Sephora has it, so I'll link everything down below that I used today. I don't want to forget this step. I love spraying my face with Max Fix Plus, just so it still looks like fresh and glowy. I know I put a lot, and I let it just soak right in and just let it set. Like, if I have any like little droplets, I just kind of push it in. But look, I even made my chest wet. That's how much I love it. It just, and I love the applicator because I love the tip, just because it gets like right here. So it's like easy to really like define the lips. Much more orange red as opposed to like red orange. All right, guys, well, that is gonna be it for today's like question, advice, girl talk / this is my go-to summer look. I hope you guys enjoyed. Hopefully I answered enough questions. I love you guys so much. Don't forget to give your girl some love. Thumbs up so I know that you guys like these videos, because I can definitely keep pumping out these like get ready with me's while answering questions. I think it's super fun, you know, for us just to have some girl time. I hope you guys enjoyed, and I'll see you beautiful people in the next one. Mwah.